Okay, all, we're back again, and ready to move on to turn 5. So we're going to move my INEPTT fellows out here. We're going to move the gunner, machine gunner, support weapon gunner. He's going to go to there, and he'll go on Overwatch. The commander or the leader is going to go to there. He will go on Overwatch, and these two are going to go to the bottom of the building, and they're going to go on Overwatch. So we can do this nice and methodically. We don't have to rush. There's no panic, because we know that the grays are out there. We just don't know how many. Now, the last two guys we have, of course, took out the gray last turn, and we now need to move them up to the attic, or the top floor of the residence. So we're going to do that. And as we do it, the first guy who went up first last time, he will go up first, and he's going to roll, and he finds a gray. So there's a second gray in that building, this time on the roof, or in the attic, sorry, I should say. So we'll roll for the gray to see if he's on an Overwatch, and by Jiminy Crickets, he is. So now this guy has a problem, because he's going up the stairs. He's walked right into what amounts to an ambush by the gray that's in the attic. So we'll take these two guys out, because we know they're moving up to the top floor of the attic. Put the attic on, and there we go. We got the gray over here, and our first guy comes up the stairs. When it comes to stairs in buildings that don't have them, just sort of use your common sense. Some stairs, some manufacturers are good. They have stairs for everywhere. Others, not so much. It's not a big issue. Some people like it to be clean. Me, I just figure, well, you know, there's going to be one or two stairways up to a building. Older buildings like these ones, usually only one stairway. So as long as your guys come from the same point, it doesn't really matter, in my opinion. But that's up to you. Okay, so this alien gray gets to fire first. And the grays have, these guys are carrying laser rifles. So he gets 2 shots. The gray's only got a shoot skill of 6 though, so he's nowhere near as good as the INEPTT operator. And in this case, he does get 1 hit. He got a 6. Now, obviously, the soldier is moving, or our operator is moving with light cover, because he's using the balance strat and everything else to cover himself as he's walking up. So he's moving at light cover as a -2. But the alien gray, short range with a laser rifle, is +2, so it ends up being a 6, so he got a hit. Now, the laser rifle has an AP of 5, so an armor penetration or armor piercing of 5. Our guys, our INEPTT operators, the assaulters, wear heavy body armor. So it's a level 5 body armor, which means it has an AP of 5. So the gray got 1 hit, and the hit is going to be straight up, so 5+, because the gray has a 5 for armor piercing. The INEPTT operator is wearing level 5 body armor. They nullified each other, so a 5+, and there'll be a wound. Oh no! He rolled a 10, which means he does double damage. That's not good for our guy. Luckily, he's got 3 health, but he took 2 wounds. Yikes! So that's bad. Two hits. That's probably an upper chest headshot, which makes sense as he's coming up the stairs. Now our guy's going to get the fire back, and of course he's got his MP4 or MP7, sorry. So he's going to fire back 4 rounds, but because he took damage and was wounded twice, he's going to be down 2 on the die roll. Which is, that's going to have some effect. So you have a base roll of 4+ for the INEPTT operator with his shoot skill. You get +1 for the MP7 at short range, and I just want to make sure that it's +1. Yeah, MP7 +1 at short range, which basically means that it's 3+ for hit. But the gray was not moving in soft cover, which gives it a -3, and then -2 more because the guy was wounded. So you have what amounts to 4 plus to hit with just a shoot skill, 3 plus to hit with his weapon, and then we roll and we -4 off the die roll to see if we can achieve any hits. So he rolled a 10, a 2, a 2, and a 4. So we got 3 misses and a critical hit. So the critical hit was the 10. That halves the Gray's armor. So if you remember, the MP5 or MP7 has an armor penetration of 4. The Gray has 4 armor. So his inherent armor, his skin, or whatever they wear on their skin, is a 4. But because it's a critical hit, it's half of that. So it's only a 2. So that means for armor penetration, the guy is up, our man is up 2. So you've got to get 5 plus 2 to the die roll. He gets a 6 plus 2. That's a wound. So that's good. We wounded the Gray. The second guy comes up behind and he opens fire. He's not wounded. He gets a 10, a 9, and an 8. So that's 3 hits. 1 is a critical hit. He rolls that, 7, and the Gray is dead. So there we go. Our 2 guys have now taken out 2 Grays, but we have lost a fellow. Okay, so you see how combat works in the building and how Overwatch can be very effective. It's almost like an ambush situation. It can be really nasty. If the guy that came up behind the wounded guy was a combat medic, I could attempt to do some combat first aid and heal up one of those wounds. Yeah, so now we know that 2 of our possible 6 aliens are no longer with us. That's a good thing. So we'll move on to the next turn. So we know that this house here is clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my 2 operators that are up there, and we're going to move them down and out of the house. So the way I do movement up and down, assuming that there's stairs, is just the height of the floor. So they're at the top of the building, and if we look, we can see that it's about 4 inches. So walking, they can both get to about this position here. That's about 7 inches. They don't need to run. There's no reason for them to run. And I'm just going to take the alien Gray casualties out of this building so I know that they're out. So when I put everything away, I don't lose alien Grays. Okay, so now we got the guys that are going to go in through the door. We've got the leader and the machine gun operator both on Overwatch, so from last turn. So our first guy will go through the door on the bottom floor of the industrial complex, or the industrial building I should say. So we'll roll a die to see if there's any aliens in there. There is, and he's not on Overwatch. So our lad goes in, he sees an alien Gray sitting on the other side of the building. He goes in and he's going to fire his MP7 4 times, and he got 2 hits, a 6 and a 7, and he got 2 wounds, and the alien Gray is dead. The next guy comes in behind him. He's going to go on Overwatch. The commander is going to go in with them because they got 2 floors, and the machine gunner or the support operator is going to go down here, keep an eye on the scout ship. Okay, so we've got 3 alien Grays down. We've so far secured 2 civilians, and we've taken 2 wounds. All right, next turn we're going to move our lads. These guys are going to head down with the machine gun operator. Unfortunately, I didn't bring a combat medic with me, so my guy's going to have to just maintain those 2 wounds. Inside the building, the guy who went in first last time is going to go up 1 floor. No Gray on the 2nd floor. So his partner will go up with him, and they safeguard a civilian. and the leader will stay on the second floor. So we've got a third safeguarded civilian. Okay, so the turns can fly by pretty quickly, as you can see. If there's no contact, you can whip through these games in no time. If you were wanting to use random movement for civilians or morale use for civilians, that increases things a little bit. Same as if you're going to use movement for the aliens. Obviously, it takes a little bit more time. Okay, so next turn, our guys are going to go and breach the final deck of the industrial complex, and sure enough, that's our last alien gray. They found him. First guy goes up. The gray is in an ambush position, or in overwatch for our purposes. So even though I don't have any furniture or anything else in these buildings, just because of the nature of how much it takes to put them together and my lack of drive to put anything in that particular building, it is always assumed that there is soft cover in any building, unless you specifically say at the beginning that it is abandoned or it's been all removed. Even when you're going across open terrain, the only terrain that is not considered to have soft cover is roadways. So if you're in a roadway, or if you were on a football or soccer pitch or something like that, you know, somewhere where you know that there's no cover, there's no dips in the ground or anything like that. But generally speaking, all your terrain should be considered soft cover, unless the game master or you decide differently. Okay, so my first guy's going up. The alien gray opens fire with his laser rifle. Uh-oh, he gets 2 hits. So he got an 8 and an 8, so that's double penetrations. And then he got a critical, which is 2 wounds, and he got another wound. So this guy is killed. So our final guy goes up, or our second operator, and he opens fire on the gray, and he gets 9, 9, and an 8. So we got 3 wounds on the gray, or 3 possible wounds, 3 hits. I got a critical, a 9, and a 7. So that gray is killed. And for the purposes of our game, that's it. We know that the 4 grays that we were going to use are done. INEPTT wins. So INEPTT safeguarded 3 civilians, killed 4 grays, and lost 1 operator, which not great, but not bad. And there we have it. Solo INEPTT alien bug hunt.